opinion-based evidence is always used in family courts, whereas in a criminal court, evidence is based on facts. What measures do you think could be brought into family courts to ensure a fairer and more transparent system?
This has been a big focus in Parliament about developments in the law in family courts, because whilst they are civil proceedings, not criminal ones, with a standard of proof that's lower than the criminal court. You know, in a criminal court, the jury's got to be certain beyond a reasonable doubt that something has happened. In a civil court, it's on the balance of probabilities more likely than not that it's happened. So it is lower. And with that lower threshold comes this slight relaxation of the factual evidence and allowing, in addition, to supplement the factual evidence, opinion evidence from someone who's capable of giving an opinion. That's a really important point to stress. So it shouldn't be anybody in the world giving an opinion. It should be somebody who's got the ability to give an opinion that carries weight. So an expert who's got the right kind of expertise can give opinion, for example. But we've been concerned in Parliament that that's been allowed kind of to be interpreted quite widely, so that quite a lot of people have been giving quite a lot of opinion evidence to supplement what potentially could be kind of thin factual evidence and sway the decision in a way that might not be justified by the facts alone. And so we've been looking at ways of whether we could say that, for example, both, say in a care case, the local authority and the parents agree on one expert in advance that provides one report to the court, rather than they each go to different experts and get two different opinions, and it becomes in called a battle of the opinions. And in that way try to narrow down the amount of opinion evidence that gets given in a court and try to boost up the amount of factual, commonly agreed evidence that's the basis for any opinion that's given.
What do you personally do to gather the views of your local constituents on family law matters?
Well, a busy constituency MP is always out and about meeting people at the general level. Certainly, for example, the last 7 days I've been out every one of the 7 days, something in my constituency, meeting people. Then there are issues that demand an MP's attention politically because of the situation at the present time, which has kind of got to be given attention. Then there are MPs who have individual subject areas that they're interested in, so they'll focus extra effort on those. But to my mind, something like the quality of family life is kind of universal and important everywhere. And so I try to kind of weave it into many of the things that I do. So I will specially kind of pick out events that I can go to where I can focus on this subject and be able to meet a wide range of people. So I have, for example, shadowed a social worker in doing her job. I have been to groups who support parents. One example that comes to mind while I'm being interviewed is Home Start, who provide support through volunteers for parents. And certainly I've worked through parent organisations like Gingerbread in the past, both at the local level and then transferring that to the parliamentary level as to what the things that are happening on the ground mean for how the law should be in Parliament. So I've tried to kind of follow it all the way through, and I gave an example earlier on of a conference that I actually kind of hosted and convened with the help of the County Council at the County Showground recently, where we had 300 people attending from all over the West Midlands to talk about those early years of a child's life and the support that parents need to make sure those early years are secure and valuable and the most use is made of them as is possibly the case. So it's about putting all of those things together and taking an interest in them. And then, of course, sometimes an MP will meet a constituent who's particularly active with a particular interest in such subjects. And that will help to keep the MP up to the mark, drive the MP to do the work, and it does actually make MPs think about a subject in great depth when that happens. And MPs can easily become kind of champions of a cause in Parliament because of what one constituent originally raised with the MP. And it's quite magnificent to me in our democracy. When one constituent goes to one MP and the one MP raises issues that end up in Parliament changing the law for everybody, that to me is a kind of vindication of the system we've got.
Okay. Can you tell us if you have any plans to raise issues regarding family courts and the care system in Parliament, and what issues you propose to raise?
Yes, another all-party group in Parliament, besides the one I described that I used to chair for children and care, is an all-party group for children generally, all children's issues. And I'm a member of that group, and I've been to meetings where we've had presentations about, it might be about the system in the family court, it might be about the shortcomings in CAFCAS in the past, and it might be about the growing body of evidence among scientists about how important the first 3 years of a child's life is. It seems to me kind of ridiculous to need the evidence to prove that if children are loved and protected and their young minds stimulated, that they will go on to develop soundly, be clever at school, be emotionally secure, and go on to be successful and good citizens. But nevertheless, there is such evidence as well now, I mean, to the extent of kind of scans of children's brains to show that a child who's been stimulated has a bigger brain than a child who's been neglected and ignored because they weren't stimulated, and parts of their brain actually die off, and they can never be, that kind of, the bits that die off can never be kind of reactivated in the future. So there really is kind of a scientific basis for the things that I'm saying that might sound apple pie and motherhood. And I've been to presentations with scientists who've made us all aware of those things and what can be done about it, crucially, and therefore debated them in Parliament. So I do these things in Parliament to raise them. You've asked me what will I do to raise them again. Right now there's consideration in Parliament going on about changes to the way we run our family courts, and I'm involved in those in terms of raising them in Parliament and correspondence with ministers and meeting and talking to ministers about that, and I'll go on doing that. I've been a champion in Parliament for promoting the ease of breastfeeding for young mums, and I'm certainly a member of a kind of an informal gathering of politicians promoting greater kind of play facilities for children as well. So in all those different ways I shall go on raising these subjects in Parliament, and I shall continue to be a friend to my Associate Parliamentary Group for Children in Care that I've kind of been a member of now for 12 years, and shall continue to support efforts to improve the lot of children in care.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.